Global citizen. What a nice hashtag for social media, right? Does that mean to be a global citizen, you got to have likes on your Facebook pictures? Or perhaps hundreds, if not thousands of followers on your Instagram account, on your Facebook, on YouTube? Or perhaps have your tweet retweeted several times throughout the day? Psychologists said that the feeling that we get when we get that social media like, it is very much so similar to when we are getting a hug. But I tell you this, to be a global citizen, it takes a lot more than that. At least in my case, it started with me after I survived the 9/11. After I survived the World Trade Center, I found myself jobless, hopeless, lost, and fear. Fear, false evidence appealing real. As far as fear concerns, there are two types of people. Those who conquer it and those who live their life in fear. Fear, the number one dream killer. After surviving the 9/11, I rebuilt myself like the towers. Taller, better, and stronger like many others New Yorkers did. I made my project go global. I had to step out from my comfort zone. Sometimes, as we heard tonight, fear is part of the process. You got to apprehend fear. It is part. Sometimes fear and love make us move. I ask myself, what is it that gets me going every day in the morning? What is it that gets me moving? And the simple answer to my question was, I just love to travel. I've been to more than 100 countries. And I keep on traveling, and I love to discover and see the unknown. But there was something else to get there with that answer. That was to see someone's happy, a smile on someone's face. I didn't really know what it was. But anyway, as I was living my daily life, in one of my trips, I happened to be in Thailand when the tsunami took place. I had the option to stay or go home. I volunteer and offer help to those who are there to entertain me in the first place. Although I didn't speak a word of Thai, I understood that help, love, caring had no barriers, and understanding people and their culture will have a much greater impact than a bunch of words. I finally had the answer to what I've been looking for all these years, to start off my project. So what is this project then? Well, we can all agree that English is the world's lingua franca. Today, English is spoken by 2 billion people around the world. That is a quarter of the world population, and this number is only set to grow. It is estimated by the end of this year, 2020, that 2 billion people will either learn or speak English. We are so busy with our daily routine that oftentimes we forget that we are all born with a commodity. Yes, a language. And very few realize what can be done with. I'm using English as an example, but this could be done with French, Spanish, whatever. Because it is with one's language that we understand one's culture. And it is with one's culture that we understand what goes on in one's heart. And it is the sad part to it is that every year between 8 to 10 languages disappear. Those non-common languages. And together with them, it goes their fight, their culture, their strength, their struggle, and everything. As this famous proverb says, learn a new language and you get a new soul. That is so true. Just the other day, I was trying to understand an expression in French. And I was only able to understand that because I speak French and I know the culture. But it was like, assez taper les fers sur le derrière par terre. Donc, alors, I started looking that up, and in the translation was like a butt hitting on the floor. But it doesn't make any sense to me, because in reality it means to laugh hysterically. But I was only able to understand that because I know the culture. So it is the same situation if we were at a fine 5-star restaurant with people eating that could be no more or less educated than you are. But the only difference is that they are eating with their hands. But guess what? That is their culture, their tradition. We got to stop looking at the world and seeing diversity and being afraid of diversity. On the contrary, we should celebrate diversity. We have this tendency to determine what others must dream. There is the American dream, the French dream, the Italian dream, whatever dream. And that brings me to this saying. Learn a new language and you avoid a war. Perhaps that is wiser that we learn a language before we go around and bomb others. We got plenty of challenges already. There is about 173 million jobless people around the world, out of which 71 is our future generation, the youngsters. 264 million people suffer from depression, mainly related to work. But let it not be forgotten that there are 970 million people around the world trying to make their life a much better place to be. Our world needs global citizens. And I'm not talking about Instagrammer, selfie time. No, I'm talking about global citizens that take an active part in this emerging world community. Citizens that take responsibilities for their actions and beliefs. Global citizens, they are committed to change and creating this world community with good values and good practices. Back in times, the word citizenship, the title citizenship, was not like given to anybody who was just born in Greece like it was nowadays in ancient Greek times. You got to deserve. You got to work for. You got to do something good for a common good in a community. So in other words, a true citizen is a real volunteer. If you want to have really followers, lead by your own examples. So what about if we take the role of a real citizen with what we can do to prosper society, a nation? So we can mix both, and that comes with education. UNESCO already said that none of its goals will be possible with the lack of education. Education is essential. So that is why I created ITTI, an institute that takes your language and makes into a priceless, indispensable commodity. We transform dreams into reality by helping hundreds of jobless individuals around the world. People who are native or non-native English speakers, people that wanted to do more, to travel the world but have no means to pay for, those who are not happy at work at all, and especially those who wanted to do some type of volunteer work but don't know how and where to start. But here's the catchy part. As part of our project, everybody has to do what I did, in order to feel what I felt when I volunteered in Thailand, to teach culture with language through those less privileged ones, like orphans, former inmates, refugees, immigrants, and or whoever needs to develop these skills in order to be accepted in a difficult culture. Volunteering is an attitude. Volunteering is a lifestyle. I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy, but I can guarantee you it's going to be worthwhile. Sometimes life is just like a boomerang. What goes around comes around. We got to stop ourselves, asking ourselves, what is out there for me? Instead, we should say, what can I give? I tell you, volunteer will be the best souvenir ever you will have for the rest of your life. I am a better citizen today because all my travels and volunteer experience. And if you think of volunteering, the importance of volunteering, it is like it unleashes a new version of yourself. It is like we all go back to square zero. It brings us to square zero, where we feel like we are all human beings. If I were to summarize, volunteering is when you take yourself out of the spotlight and you put somebody else in, and you mind their likes and dislikes and their needs. It's not by no means that you are quitting on yourself, not at all. It is this simple volunteering. It is a simple reminder that is somebody besides you. We are so connected with this new technology nowadays. And don't take me wrong, I just love it. But the same technology that has been created to connect us is driving us apart. Everybody's going on his or her own bubble. So that is why I put together this whole educational development program where that it consists of an intensive training between 120 hours to 500 hours where we teach how to teach refugees, how to teach orphans and displaced child, how to teach refugees, how to teach young learners, how to teach impoverished communities, how to promote gender equality in women. It is like we get our global citizens fully prepared before they go out there. It is like learning before serving. It is today, with your daily language, that I'm making tomorrow's global citizens. There are about 600 ITTI ambassadors all over the world, volunteering, teaching, replicating what I started alone. Hundreds of students, month after month, transforming regular citizens into global citizens. From Afghanistan to Ecuador, from Mexico to New Zealand, from the Philippines to Syria, from Turkey to South Africa. As Mandela said, the only weapon we got to fight a war is education. And as I said, if you want to be understood by someone, speak her language. Although artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and virtual reality, technology overall is redefining how we learn a new language today, there's absolutely nothing that can replace human skills. I have understood that, and that is why I'm putting together meaning through culture with real classroom learning experience. So I'm inviting you to take your daily language and make a great impact onto your life and onto the lives of many others around you. Individually, we are just a simple drop. But together, we are an ocean. Thank you.